The starting line of the Boston Marathon ahead of a rally for justice planned for 4:30. These community members are demanding more answers in the death of 16-year-old Mikayla Miller. She was found dead at a trail near her home last month. Mikayla Miller's family believes that she was murdered. The district attorney says there's no evidence of that so far, but that the investigation is ongoing.
Hopkinton High students were let out of school before 11 this morning, well before this gathering for 16-year-old classmate Mikayla Miller. She was found hanging from a tree in some woods last month. In the absence of real answers, rumors have alleged she was murdered and bullied.
Is an unspeakable tragedy.
Even though the district attorney Marian Ryan says the cause of death isn't known yet. Earlier this week, she said Mikayla had been in a fight the night before her body was discovered. But Ryan said cell phone technology and witness interviews indicate the others involved were not with Mikayla when she died.
What if we do just another one here?
We spoke with one Hopkinton mom who showed up early to support the family.
But this poor young lady lost her life, and I think regardless of how her life was taken, because we don't know, what matters is that the people that are hurt and angry know that Hopkinton cares and that her life did matter.
Here on the Hopkinton Town Green, you can see people standing around with lots of flowers, lots of signs. This is something the town has been preparing for. Certain streets leading into town blocked off with cones. We're right at the marathon start line, and hundreds were expected to turn out for this vigil. This is something we're preparing for all week.
So we actually expect to come out and remember Mikayla and understand her life and really demand the questions that people have been asking. We're still asking for an independent investigator, work with the family, the friends, and of course remember her in a very kind way. She was a beautiful 16-year-old who lost her life just down the street. And we want to make sure that it was remembered here in Hopkinton, of course, where you would typically be having the marathon start. On marathon weekend, the 16-year-old lost her life. And we want to make sure that marathon folks know that this is important, that we need to solve all the things that have happened. And whether or not this investigation happens today, tomorrow, or next week, we still demand justice for Mikayla. Well, I can just tell you, I've talked to her several times, and my preference is to simply not speak for her. Our thought has just simply been we'll let Ms. Struthers speak for herself, and then after she speaks, I think more of us, the family, will then have a broader conversation about our next steps. Our point today is just simply to demand justice for Mikayla, and of course to ask for an independent investigator. Well, what made it jump out is, of course, the abuse that happened to Mikayla that night, and then to find out the next morning that unfortunately she had lost her life, and then all the conversations have been just this rush to judgment about what happened to Mikayla. And we just think that an independent investigator that will then come in and make sure all the facts are correct, the family knows what's happening, and that there is no doubt about what has happened. That's why it has jumped out, and it's very important.
And all the security around here today, do you think it's appropriate, not knowing what to expect here?
I think it's appropriate simply because of the fact that we never know what to expect, whether or not there are folks who are friendly to Mikayla and all the folks who are here or not. And so since that is the case, we need to make sure that we all are protected, both black, white, Black Lives Matter, and anyone else who shows up.